Go live. Make sure we can jive. Make sure that the audio is working. Let's do that.
You got any tools?
The cards are here every day. Don't you want to see the animals?
I thought he was gonna say she was gonna make some joke about like petting some animals. Some dirty joke.
Nope. No, the punchline came out of nowhere.
I don't even think that was a punchline.
Okay, audio works. All right, so let's see. We got to share this.
Dang, man, it's Tuesday. We could be getting them hot dogs. $2 hot dogs
They
tonight.
close so early, and by the way, it's $3. Inflation.
Well, still, it's a good deal.
Very good deal.
There's also the other hot dog place up the street. That new
The Doghouse.
Yeah, the
That's
Doghouse.
in College Park. I would get peanut butter and croutons on my and SpaghettiOs on my hot dog.
traditional stuff. Chili dog, mac and cheese.
Macky cheesy. Okay. All right. I gotta start recording. All right, we're recording. We're about to start the show. Matt looks very sad.
Mm-hmm.
You can do that the entire show.
Because we ain't getting hot dogs. Don't want hot dogs. Every Tuesday, I think to myself, man, we could be getting the hot dog happy hour, and then something happens.
All right. You ready?
I'm ready.
Hey, Matt.
Kenny.
So even though we're not eating hot dogs, you know what's a really good way to spend your time and money?
Go. Tell me.
That would be using our friends over at Her Majesty Services to get your house clean.
Ooh, if you make a big mess eating hot dogs,
Exactly.
they're the ones to call.
Our friends Jennifer and Ashley, they started the business. They're a female-owned business, very pro-LGBT, but they can come to your place of work and clean up your office. They can come to your home, clean up your home. You can do it weekly. You can do it monthly. You can just do a one-off. And here's the thing. They're so good at what they do. They are booked.
Yeah, they
so
are.
you need to make sure if you're going to have a big party, if you're going to have some little chicks come over, you got to make sure that you're planning accordingly.
Yeah, I wish that I had used them this past weekend. I had company over, and I spent hours, and I wish I would have had them.
And you know what's crazy is Her Majesty Services probably could have done it in half the time
Yeah.
and got it twice as clean.
And they know what they're doing.
Exactly. But
Not
go
me.
check them out, hermajestyservices.com. They are going to be your best friends when it comes to the cleaning services. So make sure you tell them that the Moose sent you. In the meantime, enjoy the show.
Ladies and gentlemen, there are seven acknowledged wonders of the world. You are about to witness the eighth.
I apologize if I blew people here in the intro.
I don't think they heard your apology because you were blowing their ears out already.
Oh, that was really loud. Oh, boy. Hey, guys, it's Two Moofs. It's been a while, man.
It's been a while.
It's been a long time. I shouldn't have left you without a dope beat to step to.
Step.
Thank you. I'm glad you got that. I appreciate that. Hey, guys, welcome to Two Moofs, episode 62. I'm Kenny.
I am Matt.
And we are here with you live. I know it's been a while. We'll completely talk about the reason why. It's 100% my fault this time. But we have a lot to get through. Our chat coming in hot already. We were briefly talking about hot dogs, and our buddy Brett said, the 7-Eleven Big Bite, if you need it in a pinch. I will admit that's a pretty good hot dog.
I don't think I'll ever
Really?
buy food that's from a 7-Eleven like that.
But here's the thing. I get that gas station hot dogs have that stigma, but I'm telling you, a 7-Eleven Big Bite is
I just
pretty
know from work that 7-Elevens sometimes from my clients I've heard stories.
good. Oh, boy. Well, we won't go into that. We won't
Yeah,
want
we
to
won't go into that.
defame them, but
We're not.
But thank you guys for joining us again. You can always make this interactive. You can watch us on Facebook. You can join the chat live on Facebook, which is happening right now. You could also follow us on YouTube. Just search for Two Moves Podcast. You can also subscribe to us.
Please
on-
subscribe.
Yeah, Google Podcast, Apple Podcast, iHeartRadio, Spotify. They're going to be all your podcast sources. And, of course, you could participate in the show by texting us 347-MY-MOVES or emailing us show@2 twomoose.com. Speaking of interactivity on our Facebook page, our friend Carmen chiming in again. Apparently, Truly, the company that makes those sparkling,
Yes.
it's like the competitor to White Claw and stuff.
Yep.
They have their own vodka line,
Oh.
which is weird.
And like they have all the different flavors, like how what was it? Was it Sky Vodka that had all the different
Sky
flavors?
and Pinnacle. I know was
Pinnacle
another
had
big one.
all the flavors.
Yeah. But yeah, this one, it's going to be weird because you think, well, wait a minute, your seltzers are just lightly flavored. Are the vodkas also lightly flavored? Or are they going to be full flavored vodka? Because sometimes you can get those flavored vodkas and they're just way too sugary.
Oh yeah.
It's
need to tone it
literally,
down.
yeah, and then you feel like crap after you drink it. We also got a couple of emails, nothing too show worthy, but I did get another
Another
scam email.
Okay. All right.
And this time it's from someone
Maybe
named,
third time's a charm. I hope the story is, and I actually fell for
See,
this one.
this one I don't know about because I'm trying to wonder what the scam is. Like, where are we going?
I've been getting scammed all yesterday and today in a very unique fashion. But go ahead. Well,
Well, it's going to be interesting because, like, at least with the other ones, I can see. Okay, you have Saddam Hussein. You're one of his heirs.
right. That was scam number one.
That was scam number one. And then I get it. Okay, you want my bank information so you can scam me. The other one, I believe it was like, hey, I caught you furiously wanking off, and so I'm blackmailing you. I'm like,
right.
okay,
Like they had control of your webcam or something, and
Yeah.
they got photos
So
or video.
here's
of you.
the email I got. I'm going to read it verbatim. It's from someone named Hannah.
Okay.
And the email is reply.
Yep.
Here you are, what I promised, making it seem like I sent an email titled "Here you are, what I promised."
Is always reply? Because I always sometimes I start an email chain
Really?
with as in regarding. This is what it's regarding.
I've only done it in terms of reply,
Yeah.
but I see in your world, being a lawyer,
Yeah.
how you could do that.
Go ahead.
So anyway, it says, "Good morning. I received your email yesterday. The book is very helpful, but I didn't understand the writer's point of view in chapter 2, page 7.
Did you enroll in a class that you didn't know about?
Could you explain it to me more on Monday morning,
Are you
please?
going on? Better yet, are you the professor in a class?
Thanks in advance. With my love, Hannah S."
Ooh, are you dating a student?
So here's the thing. Couple of things about this. One, if you know me, you know I don't read. So there's no way I'd be suggesting a book.
By choice.
Two, chapter 2, page 7, indicating that chapter 1
One is
only 6 pages
Well,
long.
no, because it could be one page and chapter 2 starts on page 2.
Okay, but then what type of book only is a 1-page chapter?
I don't know. I'm just saying you gotta the parameters of when chapter 2 started
But
could
see,
have been
It makes me
page
wonder.
2.
So what's the scam here? Let's say I reply back to Hannah, and I'm like, yeah, let's meet on Monday to go over that book.
Yeah, I think you should.
But at least the other ones, it was a bit more direct in terms of, oh, we're going to steal your money. Here's how we're going to steal your money.
Maybe they figured the direct approach of asking for the bank account up front, first email, is no longer working. They need to do the long con. Maybe they ask for that
Maybe.
information a couple emails in.
Yeah, I didn't even think about that. So you think I should pursue it?
Oh yeah, you have
Okay.
to. You have to.
Well, we'll see where
And
the
then
saga
post the replies.
We'll see where the saga
the crazy
of the
thing
moose
is like
and Hannah S.
the crazy thing is even if you reply in any way, they immediately shut it down. I take calls sometimes from the scammers that are like in India. They're like, we are calling because someone bought a laptop on your Amazon account.
Yeah.
Please press 1 to dispute it, or press 2 to confirm your purchase. And they're obviously hoping you press 1 because you're like, I didn't order a laptop.
Yeah, and you talk
then
to them
you
and-
talk to somebody, and they're like, all right, can you give me your Amazon username, please?
Yeah.
And they do all that, right? I immediately start. There are some instances where I go with it and I just make up a username, and then they hang up. They hang up on me. Like,
Interesting.
I'm like, what if I was legitimately giving you a login?
Yeah.
You know? But
Curious.
lately, I've just been telling them to fuck off. And then, actually, that's what happened today. And a lady, I could hear her. It's like she turned to whoever was next to her, and she said, "He told me to fuck off," and then she hung up on me.
I wonder if they have a tally. I wonder if it's like a game. Who can be told?
They have like
who can be told the most?
They have like bingo.
Yeah, exactly.
They have like a bingo thing.
I gotta go to hell.
But I've been getting text messages from. It's not a real number. It's like one of those like the numbers like 11118 6
Oh,
whatever.
yeah.
And then it's like alert, alert, Wells Fargo, please call us at this number immediately. And then there's like a weird, it says like, it's not like a confirmation. It'll be like a reference number. And it's like a mixture of letters and numbers.
Yeah.
And if you call the number, if you call the number or press on it to call it, immediately it's the Wells Fargo, like, hello, you've reached Wells Fargo. And then it's like playing the music. It's legit. And then it says, please enter your debit card number and press pound. So what I did was I pulled out my debit card and I changed like two numbers.
You just screwed over some random person across the country.
I just changed two numbers, and then it says, this is not a valid number. Like, and then I tried it again and changed like another number.
Yeah. Well, here's the thing with that, though. So debit cards and credit cards are actually formulaic. So that it's to prevent people from randomly typing in numbers and do it. But if you notice, it's something like Visa cards always begin with 4, MasterCards always begin with 5, and then like the sequence of numbers, it's basically specific. It tells a story. So that's how that system knows whether it's fake or not.
And that's why I pulled out my Wells Fargo card and like I used the first 4 numbers and then like I changed some of the middle numbers.
But it's going to tag it, But it makes me wonder, like, that's actually a pretty decent scam to do that. It's because to spend the time to get the numbers
and it's
to dial
recording.
in.
It's like ding dong, Wells Fargo, the premier banking in North America, whatever. It's like press 1 for blah blah blah. It's like it was legit recording. Like the scammers literally called it and then like recorded it off of a phone.
Well, on other podcasts that I listen to, they've actually done it where it's those IRS scams where it's like, oh yeah, you owe us whatever. And what they'll do is they'll call and then just provide fake information. The person on the other line's like, yep, we pulled up your information and this is how much you owe, even though it's complete fake name, fake address and everything.
And if you don't respond, there's a
send
warrant
the police.
They're going to send the police. The warrant out for your arrest.
We'll see where the
To
saga...
which I say, come and get me.
We'll
you know
see.
where I'm at. You know where I'm at. I paid my taxes.
Oh, no, apparently you didn't. That's why you're getting the call. So we'll see where the saga of the Moofs and Heather S. leads us to. But again, it's been a while since we've been here. I think since our last show, you and I, Matt, went to go see a Lightning game. Out in Tampa, and it was quite fun. I mean, we got really good seats thanks to a fellow listener and our buddy Jason. We got some great seats. We went out there for Pride Night, which was really cool, and the Lightning ended up winning in overtime. We got like free hockey.
Very, very exciting game. We also, what you forgot to mention, but we also received...
I was going to get to there. It was one of those where we sat there and I think people are just really excited to be a part of groups again, and the people that are sitting around us, they were very interactive with us.
Very friendly.
So, like, they were very friendly. And what I mean, like, they weren't annoying by any means, but they were very, like, oh, if there's a goal or a good play, they would turn around for our reaction,
Oh, yeah.
Like if
high fives.
Yeah, exactly. Or if it was like a penalty, they would boo, and then they would turn around to make sure that we're booing. There was a couple of ladies that sat next to us, and they were really cool. They like had a giant thing of popcorn that they couldn't like unravel as one of those twisty ties. So
it's like in a bag.
Yeah. So it was a bag. I had to unravel it for them, and then she was like, "Oh, thanks. Do you want some?" And I was like, "Oh, that's really nice of them." And
she didn't offer me any.
Oh, you didn't help untie the bag.
I guess we both should have helped untie the bag.
Just you and I, one hand each. There was an instance, and again, I don't care about it. Well, I mean, I kind of would just because you're my friend. They did do the kiss cam, and it was a Pride night, and they did show a lot of same-sex couples mixed in with male-female couples. There was a high chance, given where we were sitting, fairly close to the ice, that you and I would have been on camera for the kiss cam.
And I mentioned too, I'm like, how do they know? Like what?
They just guess.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Like
from my time working in an arena, they just guess.
They're just scouting around and thinking, hey, these two people look like they may be together.
I think it's also body language too. If they're like leaning up against each other, if they're already like holding hands.
Right.
There have been instances where it's been like a guy and a girl, and they start shaking their head no, and they mouth like, "This is my sister." You know what I mean? Like they do that sort of stuff. So I've seen that before.
I always think that those things are primarily B-reels. They're already pre-recorded. They just, save them throughout the entire season.
Yeah.
And then, maybe save them for the next season.
Let me say this. There are some that are plants, but for the most part, they're real. Because they want that genuine reaction.
are working some other job at the arena, and then they come out and do this thing, and then go back to their regular job,
Sometimes.
or they like, hey, we want to give you free tickets, but when it comes time to the Kiss Cam, you need to be ready to do.
No,
this.
it's a little bit. It depends what they need. For example, this Lightning game, it was completely sold out, so they didn't need to worry about plants for this one. You know what I mean? It's typically when there aren't that many people, then what they'll do is like another one of the gimmicks is Kiss Cam, and then they'll show someone wearing an opponent's jersey,
Yeah.
and then show them all by themselves. Oh, they have no one to kiss, ha ha ha. Typically, those are plants. Or
Okay.
what they do is they find someone who's been sitting there during like warm-ups, and they record them for like 10 seconds. Clearly, there's nothing happening, so they
Right.
are sitting by themselves, and then they'll use that. Brett chimes in on the chat. Basically, he called Alf, called your dog Alf, and said Alf just wants some pets.
Nonstop pets is the problem. It's just and it's never ending. He's been. I'm not wearing socks or shoes or anything right now, and he's been like nibbling at my feet,
Ooh, fancy.
which has been incredibly distracting.
Facebook Nick does chime in and does want to know. Let's say they showed us on the giant jumbotron or the center hung during the Kiss Cam. What would you have done?
I'm just staring forward, and then I told you I would do the pepper shaker.
That is
The
true.
pepper grinder.
We talk about doing the pepper grinder, which if you're watching on Facebook, Matt can demonstrate.
The pepper grinder.
Yep. And then what I would do is I would have my hands underneath.
Hold on, maybe we could do it in the.
It's going to be
We're
difficult.
just gonna go this way.
Yep. So we would do
There
our
you go.
hands.
If you're
under-
watching, you could see us reenacting
yeah.
the pepper.
Which, by the
grinder.
way, I completely swapped us. We really need to have had different inputs because I'm looking this way and it doesn't make any sense. Right?
Yeah. No, that thing. I'm always on that side.
No, but I need to look towards you, and you look towards me off camera, so we need to swap our positions. I'll do that for the next show.
Okay.
Anyway, yeah.
But
Then-
the plan was to do the pepper grinder. The
pepper grinder,
shaker.
and then I would put my hands underneath like I'm holding a salad.
Right, and just hope we don't get kicked out.
Exactly.
Of the arena.
But of course, that completely, especially if I cupped my hands, it would look completely different.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what happened. It was a fun experience. Matt,
they're gonna think that two guys, are jerking off and you're cradling the balls.
that's the joke, Matt. That's the joke.
Sir, it's the pepper grinder, and he's
Yeah.
collecting.
I'm collecting the pepper, so I'm eating the salad. So
It's
anyway,
actually called the Olive Garden. Would you like more? Would you like some more
Well,
Parmesan?
What's this action?
Because that's the thing. He's like, would you
I
like
know,
some more?
But how can this be misconstrued?
Well, that's when they say, like, sir, you didn't do that on the screen, though. You did a pepper gun. I'm like, no. Look, this is what I did. Sir, we could literally replay it. No, I did the Olive Garden Parmesan.
and then you do that and be like, I'm sorry, between the two of us, who's worked in an Olive Garden before?
Look,
Call
sir,
them out.
Clearly, when
Call
you're
them out.
clearly when you hear it, you are not family.
So, so when we got there, if you've been to downtown Tampa, much like downtown Orlando, you can find like side street parking or like some of those side lots or whatever. And Matt and I parked at a place, and it was like $20 to park, which was kind of annoying because not the price or anything, but we ended up walking to the stadium and we found a space closer that
cheaper
was
parking.
like cheaper. So that was kind of annoying, but it was pretty easy to get out. But in the infinite universe that is, why does this happen to us? Matt,
And this is not the first time that it's happened
yeah.
to me.
So this was one of those spots where, in order to not have anyone physically there, you can
There's no attendant.
Yeah, you can scan a QR code and you can just pay on your phone. You didn't have to download an app, which I thought was kind of cool. You
That,
can
that,
just do it on
that
the
I
website.
was very happy about, yes.
So you input your information, but unfortunately, Matt mistyped his email.
No. Oh, yeah.
That was the first step. Now, I'm not blaming you for this at all, but
Yeah.
you mistyped your email, so you never got an email confirmation saying that
Right.
you parked.
You put in your license plate. You put in the
Credit
because
card, your billing
the credit
info.
card, and it already knows the parking lot because of the QR code that you scanned.
Correct, yes. And you tell it what space you're in, I believe, as
It did
well.
not- no, it
Oh, it
didn't-
didn't?
it did not-
Okay,
it didn't
that's
ask
fine.
that, no.
So you enter in your license plate, and then Matt, unfortunately, never got the email confirmation and technically didn't really get a confirmation on his phone other than the thanks for the payment screen.
Right, but I did take a screenshot.
But you did take a screenshot of that. Well, unfortunately, when we get back, lo and behold, there is a ticket on the dashboard or
Yes.
in the windshield.
Yep,
And obviously,
it makes no sense.
we even thought about that because it's like, watch that you get a ticket when you don't have the confirmation.
Oh, we
to
were
pay for it.
walking and we were saying like, there's a chance that we'll get a ticket, and I just thought to myself, but I still paid. And just because you put it in an email, that's not like instead of .com, I just put like .co. That was the problem.
Well-
like I was like, I still paid. I still put in my license plate. It has to still go through.
But the thing is, the only reason I bring up the email part is now you no longer have proof that you paid.
Right.
You do have a screenshot, but the
Which says-
screenshot doesn't have your license plate
Right.
or information.
But here's the thing: the screenshot has the order confirmation.
It does, and that's what I will admit. So
Right.
I'm not blaming you at all. So unfortunately, Matt did get a parking ticket, and what we suspect is that they typed in an O when it should have been a 0
For my license
for your
plate.
license plate,
Right.
because you do have one where if you look at it, people would think it's an O, but it's actually a 0.
Correct.
And so that's what we're thinking happened is they typed in an O. It came up
FYI,
as
I have a vanity plate,
Yeah.
and so the O could be mistaken.
yeah.
It's a 0.
Yeah, so they probably typed it in wrong, and they're like, oh, license plate number doesn't have a payment, so we're giving you a ticket for it.
Right.
So Matt is trying to fight it,
Mm-hmm.
but they are literally unresponsive.
Right. I called, I emailed, nothing, and I basically said, hey, here's my ticket number, here's my confirmation number. I paid for it. I had it till 11 o'clock. I got my ticket at 7:38 or something like that.
Which is not that far after
it was
the
like
puck drop.
30 minutes after we got there, maybe an hour after we got there. And so still not. I emailed them last week, like Wednesday of last week. Still nothing.
Yeah, that's pretty shady, especially because we don't live there, so it's not like you can go to like an office or something.
Right. So
to pay
the
for
same
it.
thing happened to me in Orlando. That's how I found out that Florida doesn't use the letter O for any license
They
plate.
just use zeros.
0. And so that happened to me because when I paid for parking one time downtown on my app
Yeah.
in Orlando, on my app I put in O instead of 0. And so I got a ticket. And when I went and took it to the office here in Orlando, I was like, hey, here's my ticket. Here's actually the email receipt. You can see I paid. And she's like on the computer. And we talked about this on one of
Yeah.
the other episodes.
Yeah.
She's like, oh, honey, no, you put O instead of a 0 here. And I'm like, so you're telling me that whoever saw my car knew that I paid, knew that it was valid, but decided to give me a ticket anyway because my app I put an O instead of a 0. And she's like, yeah, the state of Florida doesn't
Yeah.
do O's. And I'm like, well, now I know. Thank you. Can you please?
That's the one instance I will blame you, because how do you not know your license plate?
I don't know if it's an O or a 0.
You requested the license.
To be fair, I requested it back in like 2001 or 2002.
I've requested my tag for quite a while, and I still know exactly what it is all day.
No, that's easy. But
all day, day.
here's the thing: when I filled it out, when I requested it,
Yeah.
I very well could have put O, and then the state of Florida, knowing that there is no O, gave me 0. So when I wrote it down at the driver's license plate, the tag guy, the tax collector, he very well could have been like O, and then when they're at the plant making this thing at the prison
jail.
at the jail
At the jail.
they're like, whoa, we got to use a 0 here, sir.
Why do they talk like a fast
Because
food
only
nerd?
because only the nerds
Okay.
are working the license plates.
Well, so that unfortunately happened, and then as we were leaving too, it's hard to fully describe, but we were turning and getting out of the parking lot, but the parking lot had 2 exits, and we were turning left from the right exit, and someone was also trying to turn left from the left exit at the same time, but because of traffic, they didn't see you, and we got hit, unfortunately. Now,
They hit me.
I'm going to call it T-boned, but it wasn't like, oh my God, the airbags went off or
Oh,
whatever.
it was
Like,
super low.
yeah, we were
super
going
slow.
like both people were going maybe 5 miles an hour because again we were trying to just get out.
Right.
And it was 100% the guy's fault. It did scuff up Matt's car a bit, and the only redeemable part about that was the dude that got out he was very apologetic. He was very cool about it. His girlfriend was pissed. She was in the
I
passenger
wish I would have
seat.
seen that.
She was in the passenger seat.
You should have just, because I know you were taking photos,
Yeah.
like, just in case. But you should have been recording her and just yelling "World Star."
She was cursing up a storm like at him through the windshield. It was
I didn't see.
quite hilarious.
I was just like, here's the thing, listeners. My driver's side door has already been dinged.
Yeah.
Actually, a Coca-Cola truck like going half a mile an hour, ran
Yeah.
into my door in traffic. And I just never fixed it. I just didn't care. And so he hit the same thing and transferred white paint onto my black car. And I told the guy, I was like, man, don't worry about it. Like, I just want to get the fuck out of here. I just
Yeah.
want to go home. Because we had like an hour and a half, 2 hour drive ahead of us.
And you and I didn't really eat. Like we just.
Oh, we were starving.
Yeah, we drank at the at the game without really eating. So
Yeah. So I was
not
just
so
like, don't
good.
worry about it, man. We exchanged information and, haven't heard from him, obviously.
yeah.
But
yeah,
I just want to get out of
It
there.
was really a no harm, no foul situation, but
Yeah.
it was kind of the
His car was mostly fine. He just needed to get
Yeah.
a washcloth and wipe off
Yeah,
the
exactly.
black transfer.
It was
paint
just
onto
it
his.
was just the doo doo cherry on top of the crap sundae. You
Oh
know
yeah.
what I mean? Of-
the
of
funny
that
thing
whole
is like
situation.
I was more upset about
the ticket.
the ticket. Yeah.
No, I could completely get that. But moving on, because we have a lot to talk about. We wanted to do this sooner than later just because it's temporary and it does come out. I talked a few shows ago about Pepsi coming out with the brand new stuff called Pepsi Nitro. Now, we've had the Space Coke that we still have yet to get a class action lawsuit on whether it tastes like space.
Yeah, it tastes like cotton candy.
Yep.
And vanilla.
Exactly. And so there's Pepsi Nitro, and instead of using carbon for carbonation, they use nitro, which is like what they do in Guinness and other stout beers. And supposedly this gives Pepsi a creamier taste. So what I did was went to the store. I used some of the company budget, and I purchased. Your dog is causing a ruckus in the background.
We
So
went to the toy box.
I bought some Pepsi Nitro, and I also bought Pepsi Nitro Vanilla. So we actually have
All right.
two to
yeah,
try.
Yeah, we'll try them. I'll say from the get go, I am not a fan of vanilla, but
Well,
let's give
we're
it a
we're
go.
gonna try it. So I'm gonna crack it up right now. I realize I probably should have asked for 4 glasses because we have 2 different types
Mm-hmm.
of sodas. But yeah. So here we go. I'm gonna open up the Pepsi Nitro, and we're gonna do a live taste test on the Two
the
Move
Pepsi
Show.
Nitro, I feel like should be sponsor of the Fast and the Furious movies and just like hype it up like nitrous, NOS,
I like
that
it.
whole
I like it.
whole approach.
So these come in the tall boy can. So
Oh
not-
yeah, that looks
not-
like it looks
not-
like it's an energy drink.
Exactly, an energy drink or like a beer, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like it's not like a normal can. 230 calories for 1 can, and it says nitrogen infused cola, smaller bubbles, smoother taste.
Hold on. So we want smaller bubbles. Like when we're grading soft drinks in the future, it's all smaller bubbles are better.
Ooh, it had a really good
Livingston, get out of there.
good thing. So I'm pouring it.
Oh, that looks thick.
All right, I'll only pour you a little
that's
bit because
good.
I know we gotta we're not really soda drinkers here on the show. I would have handed it to you. All right, so here we go. We're trying the Pepsi Nitro.
Mm-hmm.
It smells just like Pepsi.
There is a noticeable difference.
Oh yeah,
It is thicker.
it's definitely thicker, but it is smoother.
Yeah.
It goes down smoother.
It's not like it's flat. It hold on.
Yeah, that's
The,
what's
the
weird.
texture, hold on. The flavor of it is almost like it's that flat flavor, but it's not. But the texture of it is not flat.
I see what you mean. Yeah, it definitely tastes like flat Pepsi, but it's not flat Pepsi.
Right.
Interesting.
It's as if you had cracked open a brand new Pepsi and it tastes flat, but it's still giving you all the bubble tickles on your tongue.
But I will say this: it actually tastes like. Do you remember? So, have you ever had like cola?
What's funny is like when you poured it, it had the foam.
Yeah.
But it was like beer
Immediately went
foam.
away.
It was like beer
Yeah.
foam though. It was like much more like when you pour regular soft drinks and you get a lot of foam and it's like sizzling. It's like totally sizzling.
Yeah.
It's like crackling. It's got
Oh,
the
yeah.
little I'm going to say little spit pieces that are flying up, from
Mm-hmm.
the bubbles. This was like foam as if you were just pouring a beer.
And it died down immediately. Here's
Yeah.
the thing: have you ever had like? Remember those root beer barrels, like the candy, the hard candy that tastes
Yeah.
like root beer? I think there was a Coke flavored one. Or have you ever had like those bottle caps? That's
Yeah.
what I'm thinking of, bottle caps. It tastes like that. Like it tastes like a Pepsi flavored candy.
Even when
but
you're
doesn't taste like Pepsi.
even when you're looking at the foam that's like on the bottom of the glass,
Yeah.
it's got a beer foam consistency.
Well, it is nitrogen. So how would you rate it? And I'm going to say like 1 to 10 because I know we're not really soda
Yeah.
drinkers.
I would still go for regular Pepsi.
So you would take a regular Pepsi over this. Okay.
This
so
is it because it tastes flat.
Okay, so the next one we have is the vanilla version. Now, it made me curious. They didn't have diet. And not that I needed to drink it, but I'm wondering if because of the sugar involved, you couldn't do a nitrogen diet soda because maybe the sugar doesn't work well with nitrogen.
Okay, I want to try. It'd be nice to try a nitrogen cherry Pepsi.
Hey, they only came out with vanilla and regular. So I'm going to open the vanilla and we're going to taste it. Now, there's not really much to compare to. Yes, there's vanilla Coke and vanilla Pepsi, but you and I don't really drink that.
No.
So what I've heard was that this is very similar to like a cream soda. So we'll see how it is. So I'm opening it up.
Oh, you're gonna make a mess.
No, it got that nice. So I'm pouring some. I need your glass over
Yeah.
here again. So pouring that in there. Okay, your dog wants some apparently. All right, so here we go. This is the vanilla Pepsi Nitro. Ooh,
That's so vanilla.
that is so much vanilla.
Yeah.
Oh, I think it's too much.
I know. That's what I'm saying. It's so vanilla.
This
There's a lot of vanilla flavor
yeah.
to this.
This is
it's like I want to say it's like 75% vanilla, 25% Pepsi.
Yeah, so here's the thing. Like, have you ever had a vanilla ice cream, but it's like the really cheap vanilla ice cream, so all you're tasting is just the artificial flavoring?
Okay.
That's what I'm tasting with this. Like, because like you said, it's too much vanilla.
Yeah. I there's no first off, I'm not like I said, not a vanilla fan, but I do not see how I could have a full serving of
Oh,
this
yeah.
one flavor.
Oh, it
it's
would
just
be-
it's too much.
Now, what about this with a scoop of ice cream?
Probably still not.
Probably
doing that.
still no. Okay.
I mean, here's what I'm thinking. You almost want to mix this with a rum and see what happens.
Ooh, I didn't even think about that.
Yeah.
I think this with a, you're right, with a, yeah. Because rum is basically sugar, so I think that would definitely help with
Yeah.
this.
I bet you if you mixed it with some sort of alcohol,
That's
that
actually
might
not a bad idea. All right, so in the Pantheon, this or the regular Nitro Pepsi?
Oh yeah, the regular Nitro Pepsi.
Okay, so we're putting this
Yeah.
third.
Oh, yeah, but that's just I mean, if you like vanilla, if you were hardcore vanilla, you probably would like this.
Hardcore Vanilla was your nickname in high school.
Because you know who my favorite artist was?
Hey, kid.
Vanilla Ice. You went with
Eminem.
Eminem.
Yeah. All right. All right. So there you go. Again, I know you said you'd rather have a regular Pepsi, but if someone offered this to you, would you say yeah, or like yeah, sure, I'll have some, or would you be like no?
If we were going to the movies,
Okay.
and they're like, we only have Nitro Pepsi, I'm fine with that.
Really? Okay.
Yeah, I'm not gonna say no if I'm trying to get a Pepsi. Like let's put it like this: Pepsi. If they did like a Nitro Mountain Dew, I'm not opposed to it. It's not bad.
Ooh, I didn't even think about that.
It's not bad. It just tastes. It has that flat flavor.
I will say it gave me immediate burps as opposed to regular sodas, which the burps are kind of like just still in there. This one, I think, with the nitrogen, gave me
Yeah.
like immediate burps.
Okay, I didn't get any of that.
Interesting. All right, well, stay tuned because for the next episode,
We're doing the Mountain Dews.
we're doing the alcoholic Mountain Dews, and we have 4 of them, my friends. 4 of them to taste. All
We should
4
try and get a
flavors.
guest on for that. That'd be a good.
Sure.
All right, I'll work on. I have some people in mind.
Okay. Maybe Alf here, who's wanting
No,
attention.
He's gonna go to the pound that evening.
Oh, I love you, Alf. All right, so moving on. The reason why it's been 3 weeks since our last show, we typically try to do this once every week, every 2 weeks at the most. But this one went 3 weeks because we were supposed to do a show last week, but it completely got derailed for everything. So I went on vacation to Houston, and if you know a little bit about me, you know that I try to hit up. I want to hit up every football, basketball, and baseball stadium in the country. Now, I don't have to see a game in there because obviously to coordinate, time of year. That would be very difficult. So, never been to Houston. They have 3 venues. So I'm like, cool. Let me do the 3 venues there. They have football, baseball, and basketball. So
Yeah.
I can hit them all. I'll tell you right now, the city of Houston is awful.
Why
It's
is this?
terrible. So the road structure makes no sense. they don't believe in merging properly. So like, let's say, hey, you want to, turn right on a road. You can't just turn right on a road. You have to get off on an off ramp, and then you have to go down the off ramp for a bit, and then you have to turn left in
pull
order
a
to
U-turn?
Yeah, in order to do that. Or sometimes it's like, oh, I need to merge to the left. Okay, cool. Let me put on my signal and merge to the left. Everyone's going 15 miles per hour under the speed limit.
Okay, so that's a product of the drivers.
Yeah, exactly. And also just the road structure doesn't make any sense. The neighborhoods also don't make sense. Like it's one of those where you'll be in an area. I'm like, oh, this is kind of a cool. Like I could walk around, and literally within 3 seconds of driving, you're in Garbageville, USA, and there's no explanation as to why. And then 3 seconds later, back to the nice, and it's just commonplace.
Little
to do it.
pockets.
Yeah,
of,
it's just super
neighborhood-
commonplace.
Good and bad neighborhoods.
It takes forever to get everywhere because they spread out everything. Like
It takes
forever to get anywhere is what I meant to say.
Okay.
But they spread out everything, and not in a good way. Not in a, oh, let's explore the city, but it's one of those like, oh, we have this really cool, food truck area. Let's put it nowhere near society so that way people can't just, come by and do it. You have to drive 30 minutes to get here, and it's the only thing in the area. So it's not if you don't want to do it, or if it, it's like, oh, hey, I'm not a fan.
Beyond the sporting sites, what else is there to do? What are the big other things for you?
So they have Johnson Space Center, which is
Okay.
but we grew up at Kennedy Space Center, so
and Johnson Space Center, I have to imagine is like a knockoff version of Kennedy Space Center.
they have mission control there.
And you know the story why Houston has mission control, right?
Enlighten us.
So I forget which president it was that changed it, but
I hope it was Lyndon Johnson, and you're just like dummy.
Because of Lyndon Johnson, and I guess I think that may have been where he was from or something like that. But he specifically was like, I'm moving mission control to Johnson in Houston,
Okay.
because I said so, and it was literally just it was like
All right.
totally his own doing. Like it made no sense. That's what I've heard. And that's the only reason it just as soon as the space shuttle or whatever rocket is like clears the tower, the launch tower, everybody at mission control takes over. Everyone in Cape Canaveral is just like, all right, well, punching out. We're done here.
So that's, obviously the famous line is Houston, we have a problem because they're talking to mission control, and you're right. There's nothing that happens as outside of the launch and maybe the landing. That's pretty much all that happens.
And
here.
the landing, again, we're going back to like the space shuttle days, but like the landing was all you get one shot and one shot only at the landing.
Yep.
For those who don't know, the space shuttle had no engines.
Correct.
So it felt like just a paper plane.
It glided down. It was a glider.
It was a gliding brick, apparently. And I always asked my father this, and it was like, so there's no way if they're like off center or they're not approaching correctly or they're falling short, they could just turn around and do it again. And he's like, nope. It literally has no engines going.
The only control they have is literally if they could bank to the left or right based on air.
The pitch and the left.
What
and
was
right.
really cool is so if because of weather or whatever they couldn't land in Florida, sometimes they land in California.
Right. Which
And what was really
White
cool-
Sands, New Mexico.
They would then strap the shuttle on top of a jumbo jet and fly it across the country, and that it was rare. But when you got to see, because it flew over basically our houses, to see the jumbo jet with the freaking space shuttle on top of it landing.
You see basically two jets attached to one another.
One of them significantally smaller than the other. It was,
and it's just like, how does this work?
I know. It was literally like
and the space shuttle ain't paying for extra seat.
It's like a dad. That's why it has to sit on top. It's just hanging on.
It's Mama Bear and Papa Bear.
It's like a dad picking up his kid and just hoisting him on his shoulders and taking him, down the trip.
If someone who's never seen that before, if you Google, space shuttle on the 747, like
it's
in flight,
mind-blowing.
It's incredible.
And it seems like technologically
it should not work.
It should not work.
How could this work?
Yeah. Anyway, back to the story. So that's what I, kind of what else to do in Houston. I will say Some of the food was good, but Houston barbecue is a little overrated. There were some good stuff. I'm not going to deny and say like the food was garbage. And we had, but like, you know, the Mexican food, which you would think, oh, it would be amazing there, like Tex-Mex, meh. The barbecue, meh.
Okay.
Oddly enough, there was really good dumpling place that I went to in like the Asian district there, so that was good. But so I was kind of already unhappy with Houston. Just, you know, it was just kind of a blah city to begin with. So I flew out of Houston Hobby, which is their smaller airport, and that's very detrimental to the story. They have Bush Intercontinental, which is funny. They can't just call it International Airport; it's an intercontinental airport. No difference whatsoever.
Okay.
It literally is an international airport. But that's the larger one. So a lot of people, if you had connections to an international spot, United, or not even, I think United, yeah, it's one of the hubs or whatever. But I flew out of Houston Hobby, which is the smaller airport. So I get there, the flight's supposed to leave at around 6 o'clock. And I get notifications on my phone, hey, your flight's been delayed, All right. Whatever, flights get delayed all the time. Hey, I can stay and drink. Funnily enough, it was the night of the NCAA championship game, so I'm like, cool, maybe I can catch like the first half or something. Inevitably, it keeps getting later and later to where
What airline?
Southwest.
Okay.
And it gets to a point I'm like, man, what is happening? Like, why can't my flight that's supposed to leave at 6 is now leaving at like 11 at night? I'm like, that can't be right.
Right. They already know, and that's crazy because they already know you're not going to get out of here.
And I'm
until
sitting there and I'm like, okay, is there like, and I'm thinking, oh, they're waiting for the plane that needs to come in for this flight, and that's delayed. So I'm like, you know what? Maybe I should check out another Orlando flight to Orlando. Maybe that plane's already here. I'll just hop on that flight. I'll wait for my bags, you know, and get them later. Those flights were also delayed. I'm like, oh,
And it's not weather.
This can't be. Yeah, it was bright sunshine outside. Come to find out, the lights on the runway at Houston Hobby Airport broke.
Oh, wow.
So the FAA said, we have to ground all flights. You can't have any flights leaving. You can't have any flights incoming.
Well, you know what the solution to this is, right?
Change out the light bulbs.
Even quicker if you know Die Hard 2.
Oh, boy. What?
You never seen Die Hard 2? It's where
It's been forever, dude.
McClane lights the runway on fire with the strip
That's
of fire,
right.
you know, like
Yeah.
from a 747 that's leaking
Oh,
gasoline.
They totally should have done that. But
Easy.
So all the flights get canceled, but of course they all get notified and canceled at the exact same time. So everyone
It's like in the movies where like it all
Yeah.
the
Tick, tick,
thing
tick, 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 tick.
changes.
So
cancel.
everyone
cancel.
immediately floods the gates, and this one again. I want to reiterate this because a lot of people, when I told the story on my social media, a lot of people were like, "Oh, Southwest sucks." Southwest it was not their issue at all. Southwest was merely responding to the airport failing. And here's the thing: given how the city of Houston is run, totally makes sense why their airport would fail like this. It's just indicative of how awful the city is and how the city is run. So this is on a Monday night. And I'm waiting in line, and what I'm doing is I'm also getting on the app, and the app is saying, oh, your flight's been rescheduled. I'm like, cool. To what? It won't let me know. It just says, go see a gate agent. I'm like, all right. So I go see a gate agent, and I'm like, hey, I'm supposed to leave. Is there first flight tomorrow out of Orlando? They're like, hey, best we can do, you'll be leaving out of Houston Bush Intercontinental at 2 o'clock, stopping in Memphis, and you arrive Wednesday morning at 1 a.m.
Oh my god!
And that is the best flight possible. Now, keep in mind, that airport is like 45 minutes away from where I currently am.
So are they offering like a shuttle for these people?
No, because again, it's not Southwest's fault. That's all they can do.
Yeah.
And they're just doing anything they can. Anything out of Houston Hobby, I wouldn't have left until Wednesday morning, which is 2 days. And I couldn't do that. I needed to get back to work and do all that stuff.
Well, clearly you got to start
So
rating people.
I accepted that. I'm like, listen, all right, I'm going to go ahead. I'll just take the flight and I'll see what I can do, whatever. So I'm like, all right, I need my bags. I have my medication in there. I'm wearing the same clothes I've been wearing all day because I thought I was leaving that night. I'm like, you know what? I need to, get my bags. Well, with everyone's flights being canceled, everyone wants their bags. And again, why the airport failed at this is mind-boggling. Instead of, you would think, okay, all the flights are canceled. Let's get all the bags, put them into the terminal. People can collect their bags. If you don't collect your bags, we'll put it on the next flight
Right.
because they're already tagged. All
Yeah.
of them have tags.
Also, you're just trying to get home where you have other clothes and stuff like that.
Correct.
But there are people that are trying to travel to Orlando for
yeah.
a vacation. So
Correct.
you can't just, hey, take this other flight, and when your bag gets to you, your bag gets to you.
Correct, yeah.
You know, you're not going to go on vacation.
So you would think, get all the bags off. If people want to grab them,
I
they'll
want to
grab
get the
them. and if
bags
not-
off. You know what I mean?
Oh boy, is it with the pepper grinder? Mm-hmm. So they didn't do that. They made you wait in line. They got your bag description. If you had your little claim ticket, they got that, and then they would get like a dozen of them, go into the baggage area, and then try to find them. And that's like finding a freaking needle in a haystack because
You have
they're-
hundreds.
Like they're organized, let's say by city, and that's fine. But let's say out of the 100 people that wanted to go to Orlando that night, 5 people wanted their bags. You have to now search through every one of them to try to find the bag color, the bag size.
Yeah.
The sun's going down, by the way, so I don't know what their lighting system is. Then you have to cross-reference the tag, see if it works. And I'm like, that it was so grossly inefficient as to what's
They
happening.
should have just grabbed everybody and just get in a line and say, go find your own bags
Yeah,
at that point.
Exactly. And it
Put 'em all on the tarmac.
And again, I cannot blame Southwest because it wasn't their policy. This was all Houston Hobby Airport, and they are absolute garbage employees there. I felt bad for the Southwest people because people are berating them. People are, just treating them badly, and it wasn't their. They had no idea, so they're just doing the best they can to try to mitigate the situation. So I'm still waiting for my bags. In the meantime, I'm trying to find a better flight. I find a direct flight out of Bush to Orlando. So I'm like, cool, it's at least direct. It leaves at 11, whatever. So I rebook myself on that. I'm ready to go, and I'm like, well, crap, I need to just get a hotel near Bush Airport. Now, I called Southwest customer service. They understood my plight. They were super sorry. They actually gave me a lot of not only flight credits, but like actual monetary credits to like, hey, we know you have to do a hotel and probably a rental car. Here's X amount of dollars. And I'm like, cool. Again, I cannot stress enough, Southwest did a great job doing what they could to help me. So I get the hotel at near Bush, and I was like, okay, let me just wait for my bag. Let me just wait for my bag. You know what? An Uber is only $30. I'll take it. You know what I mean? I'll just do that. And I'm there for about 5 hours, and my bag never comes out. To a point where, they fixed the lights. Now flights are coming in that have probably been circling around for a while.
This is the same
The same airport,
evening.
the same night.
Yeah.
So again, I was supposed to leave at 6, found out about the flight cancellation around 7. We're talking this is like 11 p.m. And flights are coming in. So now the baggage handlers have to stop what they're doing in order to get these new flights and get those people's bags coming in. They're then over the intercom, they're like, hey, if you're flying to New Orleans, we didn't pull any of your bags. Your bags already left on a flight to New Orleans tonight. So, if you'll see them there. But they decided to tell people that at like 11 p.m.
Right.
So anyone from New Orleans wasted their time just sitting around at the airport. Keep in mind, it's also 11 p.m., so all the restaurants at the airport closed. So, it was absolutely miserable. About 1 a.m. comes around, and it's one of those, hey, guys, we're not going to be pulling any more bags. Sorry. And I'm like, you got to be shitting me.
Like, no one wants to...
I've literally been sitting here this entire time, and I could have left for my hotel, gotten probably a decent meal, good night's sleep, got ready for my flight. And, had I known that, I'd be like, cool, I'll have to sleep in my clothes. I'll have to struggle through my medication, all that, whatever. 1 o'clock comes around. I'm like, this is garbage. So let me go ahead and get to my hotel. By the way, the hotel was non-refundable because I booked it that night. As I'm doing that, I'm like, there's a flight out of Houston Hobby direct that I can take
When?
the next morning. So I booked myself on that. Even though my hotel was near Bush, I decided to stay at Houston Hobby. And the reason I did that was, okay, if they didn't pull my bag, I can at least come in the morning, get my bag.
So, hold on. So you stayed at the airport then?
So let me tell you. So it's 1 a.m. I'm like, you know what? I don't want to be here anymore. Like, for my own mental sanity, and because Southwest was technically going to pay for it, I'm just going to get an Uber, go to the airport, get a couple of hours of sleep.
Go to the hotel.
Go to the hotel, sorry. Come back to the Hobby Airport. Again, this is 45 minutes each way.
Yeah.
And then I'm going to get my bag in the morning because clearly they didn't pull it and no flights to Orlando went out that I knew of. And I'm going to get my bag, get my stuff, probably refresh at the airport, get on the flight, come home. I try to hail a Lyft. I try to hail an Uber. nothing. Because when they decided to say we're not pulling any more bags, everyone flooded in
Right.
order to get it. And it wasn't even where the prices skyrocketed. It was just there was no availability.
I've had that happen, and it's just you're just waiting and
Yeah.
waiting, and it's like searching for a driver, searching for a driver. There's nothing
So
that you can
I'm
do.
like, okay, it's going to be a bit more expensive, but let me just rent a car. So instead of like $30 one way and $30 back, it's probably going to be like $100 to get a rental
Jesus.
car. So I get a rental car 1 a.m. It's totally fine. Hop on it. It's a Toyota Prius. Not that that's detrimental to the story, but I've never driven a Prius, so it was really weird when I start the car and I hear nothing. So I'm thinking it's broken. So anyway, I drive up there. The only place that's open is a Whataburger, which nothing against Whataburger, but given the day I had, I really didn't
Yeah.
need like
That's garbage.
greasy double cheeseburger and a
Yeah.
Dr. Pepper.
That's if you're really trying to eat bad.
Yeah, and like I'm sitting there and I'm like, again, had I known I wouldn't get my bags, I would have actually gone to like a normal restaurant and like tried to enjoy myself. Probably drank. So anyway, so
There's
I,
no Chili's.
not again. This is 2 a.m. at this point. So even if there was a Chili's, everything's closed.
All right.
So I get to the hotel, and it was a pretty nice hotel. Nothing wrong there. But I pull up to the. You know how some hotels have that like that awning that you can drive
Yeah.
your car through. Well, I didn't know where my room was, so I'm like, you know what? Let me just leave my car here, go inside, check in, and I come back out. And there's a flat tire in the car. The car has a flat tire.
I've just given up on life
This
at that point.
is when I was like, what did I do in a past life? Or what have I
yeah.
done?
That's
Like,
exactly what I talk about, man.
because here's the thing.
Somehow the universe is balancing out something.
I crack on you all the time that you're a bad person. In all seriousness, you're not a bad person. You're actually a pretty dope dude, and you're one of the nicest guys that I know. And so I joke that when these things happen to you at like fast food restaurants, it's because you're clearly a bad person that's coming back.
When we say, to be fair, I would accept you're a bad person in the sense George Costanza is a bad person in Seinfeld.
Correct. Yeah.
Yes.
So you're more like you're a scoundrel,
Yes.
right? Not like an evil person.
Correct.
So anyway, so I'm like, you got to be kidding me that the car has a flat tire. And again, this is like I'm cranky. I have I have to technically wake up in like 3 hours in order to get it back. So
When that stuff like that happens to me, I look at it and I just go, of course.
yeah, no,
Of course.
exactly.
Why wouldn't there be a
Yeah.
flat tire?
So I go. Thank God, there's a gas station right next door that's also open. They have a an air thing that actually works. I was fully expecting that it doesn't work, and I'm like, fantastic,
Right.
Thank God it worked. So I fill it up with air. I kind of drive around in circles for a bit just to see if it like flattens, and I'm like, okay, it held up. So I'm thinking maybe, you know what? It probably maybe just it didn't have one of those little twisty knobs on it. So I'm like, okay, maybe because it didn't have a twisty knob, it just leaked out.
Okay.
So I go inside. I go to sleep. What few hours I did. Houston traffic is atrocious. So I'm like, even though it takes 45 minutes, I'm giving myself way more time to get back to the airport. Wake up in the morning, tires flat again. And I'm like, I have to drive down a highway in rush hour traffic with potentially a tire that can like flatten itself. So I fill it up with air. I drive.
Are you saying like full on flat or it looks
No, it's
invisible?
flat.
Okay.
It's flat. So I fill it up with
That
air.
flatter than this Coca-Cola we just or this Pepsi we just
So
tried.
I fill it up. I drive back to the
The word of the episode is flat.
flat pepper grinder. That's going to be the name of the episode is flat pepper grinder. So I drive it back, and then I'm like, okay, you know what? I'm going to stop by a gas station right next to the rental car place, and I'm going to fill it up with air and try to do the old scam still be like, ooh, sneakeroo. And I go and I check it out to fill it up. It's perfectly fine. And so I did that slow thing where I just like put my hands up, slowly walk away, turn in the rental car, and I go to the baggage. I immediately go to baggage claim because, again, thankfully with Southwest, I can check in on my phone and I have my everything. And I'm supposed to be leaving, that morning. And of course, it said my flight's delayed by 2 hours. And I'm like, of course it is. And I'm going to be here another effing day. So I go to the baggage claim and I'm like, hey, I was told my bag would be on the first flight out of Orlando, which was supposed to, leave at 6 a.m. I didn't get on the 6 a.m. flight. I was on like the 8 a.m. flight.
Yeah.
And so I called, or I wanted to check, hey, here's my information, here's the number. And they're like, hey, it hasn't scanned. It still shows that it's here. Like, because the only scan that had was Houston. I'm like, really? Like, it's still here? And they're like, yeah, but, if it says the tag of Orlando, it will get to Orlando. And I'm like, okay. So go to my gate, get some decent food. I start drinking way too early. Finally get on the plane. Finally make it back to Orlando. I go to baggage.
Was it direct?
Yeah,
Okay,
this was
that's good,
nonstop.
that's
So
good.
I get back. And I go to the baggage claim here in Orlando, and I let them know, hey, this whole situation. And again, this is the Southwest lady in Orlando, and she goes, yeah, I heard that there was a lot of chaos at Houston Hobby. Whatever. It goes, can I have your information? Type of information. Yeah, it still says it's in Houston. And I'm like, I was about to lose it. Again, not on her. She's just reading the information. She goes, now, here's the thing, though. Have you checked the bags? Now, when you walk into the carousel, there is like a huge stack of bags because people, bags, whatever.
It's like the miscellaneous bag
Correct.
area.
And I checked. I'm like, nope, my bag's not there. And again, very on brand with me. I have a hot pink rolling suitcase. And one, I just love hot pink. Two, it's easy. It stands out. Like I will never get my bag like
No one's going to mistake it.
Exactly. So they're like, no, it's not there. And she goes, well, we actually got an influx of bags that were never claimed last night over in this corner. Do you want to go check it out?
Oh,
and
I'm like, if it's there, oh my God.
So there was and I'm telling you, there was like hundreds of bags. And it wasn't just from Houston. It was from like all over the place. Apparently, because Houston shut down, and Houston is a fairly decent hub for Southwest, it affected a lot of other Southwest flights. So a lot of things either had to be rerouted or, anyway. So I go there, and I'm looking through it, and there's my bag.
So when they're saying it hadn't been scanned, but they still threw it on a plane anyway.
The night before. The night before! When I was sitting there waiting for my bag so I can go to the hotel and change.
Is there any way you could be like, you could call them up and say, hey, I still haven't gotten my bag yet?
I at this point, I'm just, it boggled my, because I'm sitting there and I'm like, had I known, because apparently.
Yeah, you wouldn't have hung out at the airport.
And a flight did go to Orlando that night.
Yeah.
That I had no idea about, that they put my bag on. And had I known that, and that was the reason they probably couldn't find it, because it never was scanned that, hey, it's going now on this flight. Had I known that, it would have saved me hours of time. And again, cannot blame Southwest. I am 1,000% blaming this on the city of Houston and the Houston airport employees. So I finally got my bag, and this is Tuesday at around like 3:30, 4 o'clock. And I get in my car, which I did have to pay extra for parking, which sucked. But I finally get home, and I just passed out and everything. But that was the reason why we didn't have a show, because I needed to catch up on everything. And we were going to try to have a show that Tuesday night and even that Wednesday. But I'm like, I lost a day being in Houston and that godforsaken city. So that's what then got me to as I'm reevaluating the last 24 hours of my life, like, why? Like,
what did you do?
What did I do? Why was the universe picking on me that it was the flights and the bags?
It could be,
and
I'm
the
telling you,
airports
man,
and
the way
flat
I
tire.
look at it, it could be like 2 years worth of like, oh, you got a green light this time when you were in a hurry. Boom, add it into your column. And then like this other day, you went to the bank and there was no one in the line. You went straight to the ATM. Boom, that's another thing in your column. And then eventually it just rains on all of that,
and
it just
toppled over.
Like if those things are worth like half a point over the course of several years, it adds up. And then this cleared your ledger.
God dang it! Like it again still boggled my mind. I don't know what the hell happened in my life to do that. But anyway, there's my Houston story. There's the reason why we haven't had a show in a while.
Yeah.
It was exhausting. Telling it was exhausting. It was just absolute
So this
nuts.
show is dedicated to all those in Houston who helped get your bag where it is today.
All right. Well, we got to move on. We're going to have an abridged version of the next couple of segments, but we will definitely talk about what's been happening the last 3 weeks in the news with our weekly news segment. Here's what's going on.
Oh, what's going on? What's going on? What's going on? Yeah, what's going on? Oh, what's going on?
What's going on? Brought to you by our amazing sponsors. We talked about Her Majesty's Services earlier today, as well as Amber at Classic Man Cuts. I need to actually get myself a beard trim, so I'll be seeing her soon. And big news from Declassified Cosmetics. They got their first shipment of cosmetics in, so they'll be introducing their line.
They're declassifying as we speak.
Very soon. All right, I got to pick and choose which ones I want to do. All right, so not getting political by any means, but Matt and I are, we've gotten boosted. We've gotten vaccinated against COVID-19. And he and I are just pro them. And that's all we'll say about that. But there are people that have tried to skirt the system. And in some places, you have to be vaccinated. And there are some people that have lied about it, Aaron Rodgers being one of them.
Yep.
Well, a man in Germany decided, I'm going to take advantage of this. A 60-year-old man in Germany allegedly had himself vaccinated dozens of times, up to 90, in order to get the passes that had the unique vaccine codes so he could sell them
Oh my God.
to people who wanted to claim that they were vaccinated.
So I don't want if he had any adverse reactions to getting the vaccine that many times.
Well, apparently he'd been doing it for months until criminal
Jesus.
police finally got to him. But he was caught at a vaccination center where he showed up for a COVID-19 shot for the second day in a row. And I think that's what tipped him off. But for months, he had been signing up under fake names, getting the vaccine, getting the card, and then selling that card under that fake name to the person that wanted to skirt the system.
well, it's not a fake name; it's someone else's
Well,
name that
for
used-
him, it was fake. But yes,
They're like,
it was someone else's
Sir,
name. Correct.
Your card says Susie Smith. Please explain. And he's like, well, and he was going to sell it to Susie Smith.
Yeah, I'm Susie Smith. It's my German accent there. So anyway, but yeah, you're right. Now it makes me wonder, like, what, like, possibly 90 doses of the vaccine in your arm. Your arm has to be like all
He's good
solid
for the
rock.
next. He's good for the next 90 variants.
Yeah, but like you got to figure the amount of times his arm got poked and prodded. Do you think his arm is just all solid muscle, like it's just
That
all
or
stone?
he mixed it up a little bit. He's like, I'll take this one in my butt, please. My right cheek, if you will.
I like it. We talked a couple of shows ago about scholarships and you know whether or not people or you and I got scholarships to our colleges and stuff. But this one has a happy ending. It started out crappy at first. A Texas student. She's currently a student at the University of Texas, a senior actually. 4 years ago, when she graduated high school, she was supposed to be valedictorian. She unfortunately missed out based on like 0.000 decimal points on it.
Okay.
Well, it turns out when she was in college, she found out that there was a miscalculation in her grades and she should have been the valedictorian.
Oh.
Here's why it's newsworthy. Her going from valedictorian to not cost her thousands of dollars in scholarships because there were certain scholarships that she was going to go to the University of Texas under, being the valedictorian,
Right.
that she was no longer eligible for. So she had to actually
So
had
did
to
she
pay
sue
a lot of it.
the school board?
So because it was just a clerical error, she wasn't able to do that. However, when the story came out, apparently there was a crowdfunding project by people who heard the story, and she raised over $40,000, which was the difference of tuition that she had to pay out of pocket
Okay.
for the University of Texas. And yeah, basically a lot of people, when she was a student and it started that like, hey, I have to pay out of pocket because of this, and that story came out.
Yeah.
Then when it came out that it was a math error, people started raising money. And now that she's about to graduate, she will be graduating debt-free from college thanks to
Oh, that'd
this
be so nice.
this crowdfunding thing. That is true.
I hope to balance everything
are in
out.
massive debt.
I hope to balance everything out. They take away the scholarship from the other lady and make her pay it back. Whoever got
Yikes.
the original valedictorian slot has to pay back their
Ooh.
student loans.
Well, that's the abridged version of what's going on. And of course, we always move along from what's going on to our moof of the week.
Just when I think you couldn't possibly be any dumber.
You are so dumb. You are really dumb. For real.
You little stupid and whoa.
I want to say move for the week.
You little dumb and whoa.
So we talked a little bit about imposters, especially when it came to getting the COVID vaccine. But you've seen those stories where people try to impersonate being a police officer in order to get benefits.
Okay.
Like
yeah.
they'll go to a store and try to get like a discount or get,
and it happens with like military uniforms
Exactly.
as well.
Well, this person actually happened in Florida, in Bunnell. A man was trying to get discount at a Wendy's and impersonated a DEA agent.
Ooh.
David Stower, 57, was arrested at a Wendy's. Police said he was called because he started arguing with the staff. When you know you're scamming and
Yeah.
you aren't going to get the scam your way,
Yeah,
you
don't.
think you just hit the eject button and leave.
Yeah, try
Because
another Wendy's, sir.
Arguing with them is clearly going to arouse suspicion.
Oh, yeah.
Well, according to the police, apparently
he was doubling down.
he was a regular at that Wendy's for 2 years, and he used to get a discount because, he was claimed he was a DEA agent. But apparently, the person that would typically give him the discount no longer worked there, and so he was trying to get.
Plot twist: they're making that employee pay it all back.
Ooh.
He now has to do a fundraiser.
Well, investigators said that he was denied over claiming that he denied claiming to be a DEA agent, but he did admit to carrying a concealed carry permit badge, which he would show to the employees as if that was a
Jesus.
specialized bag. So that is sadly our move for the week.
Imagine when the police show up and he's like, "Oh, my buddies are here now, and you guys are gonna regret this. You guys are gonna regret this." And he's like, "They're walking in. They're walking in. You might give me my discount." And then they arrest him.
Is there anything that you would ever lie in order to get? Like, is there a product or food or something that you just would covet so bad that you would lie to get it?
Oh man, I don't know. I'd have to put more thought into that. I don't think so. There's nothing that's coming to my mind.
Well, I know that there are some people that are like, they love Chick-fil-A sandwiches, so if they could lie about it, they would.
I can't think of anything. No, we're going to have to circle back to that. What you looking for there, Kenny?
Nothing. There's a file that I may not have transferred over in order.
I thought we listened to that file earlier.
Nope. That's not what the song's going to be. And as you guys know, we always have a brand new song when it comes to Matt's Lonely Thoughts. Let me ask this. Do you want to go 90s or do you want to go 2000s?
Oh, 2000s for
2000s. Okay, cool. All right, so we will. We wanted to do this. No real connection in this one. I just I happened to listen to the song and I was like, this would probably be good. So, ladies and gentlemen, here is the latest theme for Matt's Lonely Thoughts.
I thought we heard this one.
Haven't done this. It's got a really long intro. He spends his night just all alone laying in his bed. He is a lawyer who surfs Reddit on his phone, asking Kenny hypotheticals, turn this bit into a spectacle. He won't eat fruit because he's a big old baby. I really wish he would prepare. Move Troop, we really wonder why you listen to the show. Please request a To Move sticker. He asks all the tough questions, wonder what Kenny will say. Please buy all of our merch online. We really need the money. Seriously, we need the money. Did I mention he's a lawyer or not? Now let's all stand by for some Matt's Lonely Thoughts. Matt's Lonely Thoughts. There you go. Matt's Lonely Thoughts.
All right.
All right, so what's your lonely thought?
All right, so you have certain jobs that have, protective gear like goggles,
Yeah.
or construction hat or helmet. Shoot, referees, they got
Whistle.
Stuff that protects them.
Oh.
Okay, all right.
Whistle.
Umpires have sometimes the pads
Yeah.
inside.
Face mask.
Let's say there's a new national holiday called Go to Work Naked Day.
Okay.
What jobs will have the worst outcome from this? All right. Immediately, I'm thinking the telephone pole guy. You got to do it naked.
I get what you're saying. So if you did it naked,
which job is going to be the worst? You climbing that pole naked?
So that's true. Maybe not necessarily for the employee, but for the other people.
Plumbers.
The guys who do the jackhammering.
Oh God.
Again, not necessarily for the guy jackhammering, but for the people that are standing around him. You get that.
All right. To go along with your story here, the guys out on the tarmac that are waving the pilots around are doing that naked.
Yeah,
and they're just having to direct the plane, and everybody on the plane has to see them naked.
Yeah, but that's not too bad though, because have you seen those videos of like the tarmac people that are having fun and they're doing like the goofy waves and stuff?
Okay.
Have you? Because you know what I mean. Like,
Yeah,
there's
yeah.
people that have fun with that.
All right. Let's see here.
I think anything that has to do with like,
Which is the most awkward?
but see, yeah, exactly. So if we're talking most dangerous, like those are dangerous. Like if you're a fry cook, that's going to be pretty dangerous. Yeah. Really, any sort of chef at all, like doing that naked,
You're gonna
again,
you're gonna get
get
on
burned in all the wrong places. Now, when you're talking most awkward,
the kid. Well, let's change this up.
Yeah, don't say kid.
Yeah, the person that got to help your card out to your car at the grocery store.
nah, because
It's
again,
gonna be awkward.
But if everyone's naked, then it doesn't matter.
No, it's if you're working.
Oh, only the employees.
Yeah, the employees.
Okay.
If you're working, you're naked.
Yeah, that would be good. You know what would be just not safe? A surgeon.
I was thinking a dentist
Yeah.
leaning over you.
Yeah, well, I was going to say, or a surgeon, they just got to like cut you open and all that blood and guts and everything. Just get on there.
Imagine a dentist leaning over you with big old things.
I think what would be awkward is a mortician. Because if you think about it, everyone in the funeral home is sad. They're crying. They're all in suits. Everyone's dressed up nice. And then the guy just is naked, be like, and now it's time to close the casket.
You go to Starbucks and you go to order your coffee and you pull around and the guy's just straight naked.
Nah, but again, I think any sort of food service, that's just all going to be the same.
Okay.
Yeah, that's actually a good one. What would be the most awkward?
The old lady crossing walk at the elementary school.
Yes, don't say elementary school. Why'd you have to go
It's
there?
supposed to be awkward. The more awkward, the better.
I still think one of the awkward ones would be jackhammer.
Oh, the jackhammer.
The
perfect.
jackhammer one would be and again, male or female. It would just be really weird. Some good quality dead air.
I
right
mean,
there.
it was a great hypothetical. It's crazy that we can't think of anything better.
Well, okay, then what about like a lifeguard?
I
Like-
was thinking lifeguard earlier.
Yeah, I mean, but here's the thing. People are typically
thinking
in their swimsuits, so they're almost naked anyway.
Which sport would be the worst to watch? I think I got it. I think I know which sport.
There's a couple of them, and they're very similar. Sumo wrestling, I think
Okay,
would be awkward.
all right.
Or rugby.
I'm thinking bowling.
Yeah, bowling
the
would
way
be-
the way
yeah.
that you kick your foot out.
Yeah, that would be-
You don't want to see the front end or the back end.
That's
really.
true. Well, yeah, because anything that's like the pure athletics, because the Olympics they used to compete nude, like so discus and stuff. I'm like, okay, running, whatever.
What if for like whatever the 200th Olympic or whatever it is,
Yeah.
we're doing this naked.
Hey,
We're bringing it
maybe.
back to how they did it in Greece,
So,
fully naked.
what would be really awkward? So you're talking about like at least in the other ones you can't wear pads, or whatever. But in hockey, are you allowed to wear skates, or do you have to go out there barefoot?
Oh no, it's skates. You gotta have the right equipment.
Okay.
The equipment, but you have no clothes.
But no pads.
Right. Yeah, you're just naked.
But then like,
Garbage men hopping up and down, like lifting
and touching the garbage?
Yeah, and like
Yeah.
throwing it in the back and shit.
that would be great. It would also be awkward, like any sort of like Lyft or Uber driver, or like your DoorDash delivery. You know what I mean? Like everyone's at home, and then you just got the naked person holding up the bag of wings. That's pretty good. That's pretty good.
When you go to valet and then they get in your car and sit in your car naked.
Ooh, what would be going back to the dangerous one? I think auto mechanic.
Oh,
Yeah, 'cause
you're getting your oil changed.
Yeah, you get them-
and they show you your dipstick and they're like completely naked.
Yep. And then they're getting grease everywhere.
A
and
welder.
Ouch. That's some ouchies right there.
That's worse than the fry cook.
Mm-hmm.
The welder.
Yeah, that's a really good one. I think we could probably come up with better.
National go to work naked day.
I like it. Let me say this. In your line of work, being a lawyer, other than the HR stuff, if everyone this was a true thing and it was normal, would there be any part of your day that would be inconvenient because you're naked? Because you got to remember, if you went to court, everyone in court is technically naked, except for maybe like the defendant. That would be weird. The defendant and the plaintiff are just sitting there because they're not working. They're just sitting there in like a full suit, and
They're
everyone
the
else
only
is,
ones dressed.
yeah, everyone else is naked. But is there any aspect of your job that you
No,
think?
I mean, because you're in the office a lot. I'm on the phone a lot. You know, doing Zoom calls sometimes. I guess that could get like you're naked. That could be awkward. But they don't know I'm not wearing pants anyway.
Hey,
Yeah, I mean, just going around the office on the elevator, stuff like that. Can you imagine just going to the copy machine, just making copies, and
Yeah.
you're butt naked?
but again, if everyone else is doing it, I would say in my line of work there probably isn't an instance. The only thing is maybe some like because I do entertainment live events. If you're any sort of like physical setup, so if you're like setting up,
Okay.
cameras
I got
and
it.
stuff.
A line of people on The Price is Right spinning the wheel.
but they're not working.
No, but they're naked.
Anything that has to do with crouching, I think is going to be
That's what I'm trying to think. You know, gardeners.
baseball catcher.
Oh.
I think a baseball catcher would.
All right, the guy who's doing your lawn maintenance, you know, tree trimming, mowing the lawn, all that stuff.
Again, that's just super.
Can you imagine him
dangerous, man.
starting the lawnmower, like pulling the ripcord?
Your waiter at Olive Garden, because he'll be naked and then he'll be doing the pepper grinder.
And the Parmesan grinder.
Now, here's the thing: go to work naked day. Are you doing this where if you don't show up naked, you get like fined or
You get fired.
you get fired?
You get fired,
Interesting.
or you got to take PTO. You got to
Then
take
everyone would take PTO.
the whole United States would shut down.
Yeah, that is true.
Working at the pound with dogs. That's just good. Nasty old pound.
Yeah, but at the same time, you get a lot of like those hippie people that love nature and they'll like interact with animals nude anyway.
Ooh, that's just awkward.
I think any sort of tour guide.
Okay. The Shamu trainer,
Ooh,
flying through the air.
anything Cirque du Soleil, like having to do the flips and like the trapeze and all that stuff.
Feeding the squid to the seals, the sea lions at SeaWorld. All right.
That would be pretty bad.
Okay. Well,
All right.
I think that's all we got. Thank you for
Hey,
listening.
Move Troop, let us know. Is there any awkward?
Let us do this. Let us know how awkward your job would be, listeners.
And I like that. Is there any aspect of your job? Now, we have Facebook Nick is a nurse, and I'm pretty sure that would be really awkward. But at the same time, it wouldn't be because sometimes he's probably seen a lot of naked
Probably seen
bodies.
a lot of
And like I'm sure he's seen a lot of naked bodies just as a part of his job. So
Yeah.
him being naked probably wouldn't be as bad.
Yeah.
It actually might make some of the patients more comfortable. It's like, you know what?
Look, man, if I gotta be here naked, so
You know what, Mr. Facebook, I would appreciate if you were naked as well. If you have to, poke around down there, I'd appreciate if you were.
We're all in the same boat together, sir.
Now, let me say this: the best job to be naked is what Winn-Dixie John does.
Just truck driving.
Just truck
I
driving?
bet you he just drives around it. You know what?
Truck
He gets about
driving?
20 miles outside of where his stop is. He pulls over and starts putting the clothes on.
I don't think he pulls over. I just think it's like as he's driving. just
Actually,
like,
you know what'd be even better? He gets to where he's going and he backs the truck up into like the stall or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Still naked. They disconnect his
Yeah.
what
that
is it
true.
called?
So if we're going the opposite way, the best job to be naked at, I think, a truck driver is probably wins.
Because you're up high, they don't even see anything.
You're up high, you're sitting, you're in the air conditioning, and you just get to relax.
What is it called? The truck. That means it's a truckload, but it's like what is the
cabin?
No, the cab is where you're at. What is it that they would be disconnecting when you got to where you were going?
Their haul, their
What is
trailer.
that called? Yeah, the trailer.
I don't know.
Yeah.
What's funny is we have two people that are over the road truckers. They're not listening live right now.
Assholes.
So, but I'm thinking, okay, that or we could do this job naked. Not that I want to, and I realize
I
we're
think
on
we
camera
would get banned by
by Facebook.
good old Zuckerberg.
Well, that's why we got to stream on OnlyFans.
Stay tuned to the next show, guys. I say good day.